What's cracking, guys? Omar Isaf here, back with another video. Before I get into this video, I actually want to express a little bit of gratitude to everyone watching. Y'all motherfuckers have been really positive lately, and I have actually else to thank for this because we've been stepping up kind of the video quality, the audio quality, editing. I don't even know. I've been on YouTube for so long. I don't know a damn thing about editing, but we work in here, and you guys seem to really appreciate it. So I just want to say I appreciate the support.
I appreciate that.
With that being said, let's get into the video, which is kind of about positivity, but it's about the mental aspect of lifting that I think doesn't get talked about enough. We sometimes focus too much on the superficial, and there's no, it's not a big deal. Looking at the outside, the effect it has on our body, the physical component, but the mental component, the benefits we get from lifting are actually massive. And I'm going to link in the description some research. But essentially, lifting or elite level athletes, when we take a look at people that are at the peak of their performance, at the peak of what they do, compared to the average population, they actually exhibit a couple interesting things. And here's what I mean. They've done studies on this showing that feelings of vigor, so when they're excited, it's called the iceberg profile. And what it essentially means is they're cool under pressure. When they're angry, when they're fatigued, when they're tired, they're still able to pull it from within inside of them a good performance. And when they feel great, they perform even better than the average person relative to what their potential is. What this means is that the mental state of how you feel really affects your outcome, your performance. And I think some people know about this, but not enough, and it doesn't get talked about enough, that elite level athletes, a lot of them, it's not just the genetics and the hard training, it's that discipline in their mind they develop, that iceberg profile, where they're able to dig deep to get an even better performance. And I've witnessed this before. I gotta give a shout out to Couch, Jeremy Hamilton. When I saw him take that record at the time at Boss of Bosses 2, he was completely focused on the lifting. If you even look at his attempts, the weight was getting heavier, like on the deadlift. The weight kept going up, but it actually moved faster. So it got heavier, but he got better at it because he just was able to turn that on.
Let's go, Jeremy.
But that mental switch, I think, applies to other aspects of our life. Lifting is one of those cool ways that we can really quantify how we're doing. Other areas of our life is kind of hard, right? It's like, how do you quantify, like, are you happy? How are things going? But in lifting, we're able to objectively say, you know, I put some weight week to week, I'm improving, I'm getting better. And so developing that stick-to-itiveness that I'm not going to give up, that mental fortitude, I think, applies to other areas. So taking a look at elite level athletes, and we could take a lot away from this, when they're feeling fatigued, when they're feeling stressed out, when they're feeling even angry, they're able to channel that or not let it affect their performance as much. They feel fatigued just like everybody else, but they're able to turn on that switch to make sure they still give a good performance. And think about it, same thing can apply now to your work. You feel stressed out, you feel this, you feel that, but because you have that discipline, that focus you developed over time, you're not going to let it affect you. Also, on the other side, we talk about vigor, that word, that feeling of just feeling like you're on, that you can perform better. When they feel good, they perform actually great. So relative to whatever they're capable of, they do even better. And I see this in champions all the time. A lot of elite level athletes talk about the mental aspect of the game, how important it is. I don't think in lifting, I don't know what it is. I think there's kind of a Rocky mentality. You just gotta do it, you just gotta do it.
You know what you gotta do. Do it. Do it.
But listening to your body and then adjusting accordingly, I think, is highly talked about. It's something that doesn't get talked about enough. And taking a look at how you feel, what you can do to get into that positive state, into that state where you feel good, that you want to lift, that you want to focus on the lifting. We have, I kind of call it, they call it here the iceberg profile, but I call it myself kind of a cold theory when you approach lifting, where you want to collect your thoughts, you want to be as focused as possible. That ability to withstand, as Nassim Taleb would probably say, anti-fragile, where you're not going to let things affect you. If anything, when it's time to perform, you turn it up to 11. These are all things we could take away from lifting. And how do we develop these things? Well, once again, I think consistently doing it, consistently doing a good job at it, making progress, steady progress over time, training smartly, like I call that the consistent, intelligent effort over time, builds champions or builds the best possible version of yourself. It's not about going in there every day and just going nuts, going to 10, leaving yourself completely drained, and then the next day you feel tired, your CNS is all fucked up. It's about developing that cold passion, that, let's call it the iceberg profile that they talk about when it comes to athletes, and getting the job done. Anyways, guys, I just wanted to briefly talk about this. Take a look at your training, take a look at your mental state, how it affects your lifting. We all know this. When we're feeling stressed out, we're not performing nearly as well as we could, and there are some very obvious reasons behind that. But if we're able to dig deep, if we're able to resist those feelings either of sadness or stress or anything, anger that occurs with us, and instead channel that towards lifting the weight, would be a lot better for it. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say. There will be links in the description for those that are interested in building this, big word, big phrase, mental fortitude. I got to get out of here. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you liked the video, I'm not even going to ask for likes. Like it if you want. I'll be seeing all you guys, my rascals, in that next video. Peace.